Well, thank you, Chairman, and thank you again for inviting me here in Cardiff. This is my first time to visit Cardiff, but I always reading your papers and studying much from your books about and from the scholars in Cardiff. So, well, my presentation title is Building Agenda from Diversity. As you know, I'm using the word building as a, despite the word setting agenda, as Lang and Lang or protest stated on the 1990s that the agenda building may be more ideal cases to make social agenda with a collaborative, after the collaborative work with the publics and also journalists and and the other stakeholders. Well, which was that? I'm sorry. This. I forgot this way. Oh yeah. So first of all, well, what I did after for the self-introduction. So I should say what I did after March 11th. So as one of the Science Media Center of Japan founders and members, so I try to grasp the proportion of scientists' opinions about the situation, especially the nuclear scientists. But maybe you know that almost all the scientists are just in the just shut the door in the and get into the ivory tower, and they deny to talk about what the situation is or predict something, but we tried, and so with the Science Media Center in the UK and the other countries, we made many scientific comments, and it is contributed to more than 4,000 articles in BBC or Guardians and the other mainstream media's contents. Well, and still we try to help scientists to talk to the media how they should express their risk or something else with a more practical way, because we are teaching science journalism in our university. So, and also we organized 2 learning lessons conference with scientists and journalists and policy makers who played important roles just after the disaster. And this is followed by the Chatham House rule, and it's held in Tokyo in September 11th in 2011, and also in Fukushima in July 28th, 2012. And this report of this learning lessons will be available before the 3 years mark of next March 11th. And also, as an academic researcher in science journalism, I gathered news logs like newspapers, TV programs, and Twitter. We have a full Twitter log provided from Google at 1 week, and 20% of Twitter log, every Japanese Twitter log for 3 months. And now we're trying to get we're planning to buy more than 1 year log from Japanese Twitter companies. Well, using those media log data, we are doing both quantitative and qualitative analysis with our lab members. But today I will talk about the quantitative one, quantitative result. Some of them are preliminary result, but maybe I think it is interesting for you. And I'm also became a chairman of the Risk Communication Promotion Committee in the Ministry of Education. And but no, as stated yesterday, that the Japanese word risk communication is almost same as risk acceptance in nowadays. So I'm trying to convince the elder person what the difference between risk acceptance and communications. So that is one of my job. Well, Fukushima disaster was a nightmare for scientists and and journalists. So norms of journalists and scientists were in question. They were required to provide expertise or international expertise in such an uncertain situation. Maybe you know the right figure that Anderson Cooper is during the Anderson Cooper is reporting the nuclear reactors blown off by the hydrogen explosion, and this is the famous scene that he's in upset and asking what is the distance from here to the nuclear reactor or something else. And also the left side is also a nightmare or for scientists. The person in a small wipe is a nuclear engineer who was commenting lively on the TV program. What is going on inside the reactor or something else. But during that live broadcast, the explosion happened. So this may be a nightmare for risk communication, or maybe hardest crisis communication stage in this decade, I think so. So he's now losing his words and nothing to say about that. So, well, nobody expects such kind of Spanish Inquisition. So, well, sorry. So it is, many things are said, and one of the things is that they were experiencing a leak panic. They made a panic, or as stated on yesterday, they feared of panic, and so they tried to control the information or something else. So that is one of the things that we are interested in. So, for example, it is said that the mass communication, mainstream media just spinned the governmental view or just stated a packed journalism or something else. Well, is it true or not is one of our lab members' it is a point that we are interested in. So part one is I have to talk about the background, that what was the media ecosystem and the opinion diversity after March 11th. So it is said on Twitter that journalists in mainstream media are lapdogs of the government and TEPCO. They did packed journalism. Or public opinion was in social media. Social media had more diverted opinions than mainstream media. And mainstream media, in Japanese word, mainstream media is called mass-comi. Mass-comi is a shortened word for mass communication. But often the netizens calls it mass-gomi. Gomi means trash. As mass communication is just a trash now in current age or something else, such kind of expression. So mass gomi is just a waste. So now the social media is a next generation's media or something else. Such kind of discourse is always, we can check out, always we can see such kind of discourses on the internet. Well, first of all, about the mainstream media. So how did newspapers frame the Great East Japan earthquake? So this expression includes earthquake, tsunami, and nuclear power plant disaster. So we chose several levels of newspapers. One is a local newspaper, Fukushima Minpo. It's just distributed inside the Fukushima prefecture. The second one is Kahok Shinpo. It covers it's a regional newspaper, and Kahok Shinpo covers the Tohoku area. Just that the coastal side of western coastal, eastern coastal side, they suffered damage by tsunami. And national newspapers, Yomiuri Shimbun, Asahi Shimbun, and Mainichi Shimbun are national newspapers. So this is first 3 months coverage of the nuclear power, tsunami, and earthquake. The horizontal axis shows the week, and the vertical axis shows the front pages covering a percentage. Well, you can see that Asahi, all the national newspapers publish rapidly focused on the nuclear power. Nuclear power means a nuclear power policy and a nuclear power accident problems. And on the other hand, tsunami and earthquake coverage just drops down. But in regional newspaper, nuclear power is of course important, but also tsunami, including the victims and what the restoration of infrastructure is now going on, or such kind of cases are also important for those regional area. And especially in the Fukushima area, not only the nuclear power. Nuclear power seems it's not on the main point. It's just Fukushima is also suffered tsunamis damage, so they are concentrating on those topics in these 3 first months period. But so, and this is our co-occurrence network of analysis of top 400 frequent words in about related to the Tohoku disaster. And first week in national newspaper Yomiuri, at the first week they are just those agendas was just disordered. They're, for example, they are writing tsunami and earthquake contents in same articles or mixture of those articles observed on those in these weeks. But after the in week 6, then it's straightened out and focused on the nuclear disaster. You can see the big sphere that there's topics about the nuclear disaster, and tsunamis have been kicked out from the main agenda. Well, and same phenomenon tendency we can observe on same tendency on the Asahi Shimbun. There's a disordered structure at first, then well, they will focus on nuclear disaster influence and the nuclear power plant situation itself. Well, but in a regional newspaper, in Kahoku Shimpo, is a regional newspaper, showed more order from the beginning. So they are mainly focusing on earthquake and tsunami damages, and separately they are thinking about Fukushima nuclear power plant. The main topic, one of the main topic is the restoration of lifelines in Tohoku region. And after, in 6 weeks, 5 weeks later, so they're still focusing on tsunami, and they kicked out Fukushima nuclear. Of course, they are focusing on because it is important. But one of my friend, a researcher in Tohoku University, said that we don't care about, we don't have time to care about the nuclear power plant because our lifelines damaged, and many of the keys are still missing. So that is a situation in 1.5 months after the earthquake. So, an important thing is the public voice is in center of the here in the center of the agendas, and they are trying to make what the Tohoku people are thinking and what so in this case we can say that they are doing the best as allowing the ideal norm and roles for journalism that they had been an arena for public opinions. Well, so this is a summary. So you can see that all newspapers disordered at first, but then straightened up the situation. But the national newspaper focused on nuclear power plant program and marginalized tsunami. Well, regional newspaper focused on public voice and tsunami victims. Well, and still we are currently underway about the Fukushima Minpo and the local newspaper. It's I think we have feeling that it's quite different from the and more like centered on the public voice is a Fukushima Minpo situation. Well, so I mean that the local newspaper. We can say that maintain more balance. You know, it's one of the hardest things that journalists is tackling. But we can say that it's more balanced. Reports are performed by the Fukushima or more lay newspapers. You know, but this kind of victims' ignorance may have been consumer choice. So we extracted 186 million weblog entries from the web and checked out what they are talking about. So this is a week, and this is the entry numbers per 100% of the entry numbers. At the 1 means the highest point. So the first, just after the earthquakes, they of course, they are web bloggers wrote about the tsunamis and earthquakes, but it rapidly goes down. And radiation exposure or nuclear power plant was a popular topic at first, but then also this goes down. Only the popular topic among those weeks are about the low dose radiation or international radiation, internal radiation exposure or something else. Well, so this kind of consumer's tendency is reflected on those national newspaper choice, I think so. And why I talk about this is this is my data from my collaborator Ryuma Shineha. She found that the basic risk theory is also we can applicate on this Tohoku disaster. Risk as Ulrich Beck stated in several years, more than 20 years ago, risk distributed unfairly. So you can see some correlation of victims and damage with this horizontal axis is income. This is the income of each cities, average income of each cities. So you can see this negative correlations with this is a death rate in each city. So you can see that the high income rate, income city, average income city has the less death rate than the others, and also this is this is a income per person, average income per person, and damage of buildings. So you can also see a small. It's a bit weak, but we can see the correlation. So I'm sorry, I should choose another graph. There is more than correlation is more than 0.8 situation, and we can say that more people in more poverty or some other and other vulnerable social factor suffered more damages after the tsunami. So that is a reason that we are concentrating on that. Well, and how about the pack journalism? Well, so we coded frame of all the national newspaper on newspapers front pages from general to argumentative level according to the Gamson and Modigliani's classic nuclear disasters, nuclear power plants framing analysis, and also we use the followers research. And we did a content analysis and ordered the topic rankings. And finally, we did a resonance evaluation with the Spearman's rank correlation coefficient. So this is a result, and this number shows that if those topic rankings means focusing is similar to the others, so this goes high. But so you can see that in general agenda level means the balance between tsunami, earthquake, and nuclear power plant is quite similar in almost all the national newspapers. But in argumentative levels, how the nuclear politics policies be, future policies be, or something else, you can see the difference between the two categories. Mainichi and Asahi, we can say that they are anti-nuclear liberal newspapers. On the other hand, they are Nikkei and Yomiuri. They are pro-nuclear conservative newspapers. Of course, the reason of the conservativeness is different between the Nikkei and Yomiuri. But we can see this kind of tendencies. So we can say that, of course, in the level of general topic, they show the pack journalism, but actually they are discussing the different things in their front page, in pages. So the next question is about, well, social media had more diverse opinion than mainstream media or not. So we compare the opinion diversity among newspapers, portal sites, Yahoo Japan, weblogs, Twitter, and Twitter is a Japanese service, and it's a Twitter accumulation site, and also in Twitter. So if you forget about the figure, just remember that if the opinion diversity is high, it goes to 1. And if it is low, if everybody has the same opinion, it goes to 0. So we have a hypothesis before this research. So we have there is a classic Cornell's media ecosystem theory, that's intermediate disturbance hypothesis. According to the Cornell's hypothesis, so the intermediate disturbance is the most important for diversity. So if there is in artificial woods, so there's other organisms extinct, and only in this picture there's only cedars is now growing up, and it means thinking about freedoms of speech. This is a kind of a big brother's world, and any diverse opinion can exist. So, but this is a pure nature. This is, of course, this is a survival of the fittest. So this may also mean the survival of the loudest speech. So sometimes it is said that the internet sphere becomes a survival of the fittest situation. So we expect it in countryside, which has the most diverse ecosystem, is appropriately edited discourse area of sphere. This is where the journalist can make a role. Well, this is a result. So framing of general topics based on the Yahoo topics and category in usual. So it shows newspapers is in general topics is quite low in general diversity is quite low, but on Twitter and the news Yahoo topics and its news access ranking is showed a quite high score. But actually, nuclear power plant problem. So newspapers and of course Yahoo topics is they are gathering many kind of newspapers opinions is quite high, but you can see that Twitter itself is not so it didn't show high diversity in the opinions. It means that the edited journalism has more diverse opinion on its papers or in other way, but in Twitter people tend to pretend I'm anti or pro-nuclear, and they are not showing so diverse opinions on Twitter. Oops, sorry. And it is same, especially we can see the same tendency in the food safety of radioactives. So at on Twitter, so it means the final choice of the consumers. There is only two choices: eat or not eat. So there's a newspaper. So there are several, they're showing several choices. You can think about what the situation, your age is, or if you have children, you should care more about the radioactives or something else. But on Twitter, I will eat or I'm not. So that is a situation happening in discussion of the public sphere. So it's diversity of the opinions goes down almost strictly from the newspapers to Twitter. And about the nuclear governance, so and Twitter and also Together showed quite low score. I forgot to put the data, but in this nuclear governance discussion, blogs show the highest diverse scores in discussion. Well, mainstream journalists, and also we can say that from this kind of data, we can say that this is first and second, third months after the disaster. So we can say newspapers maintain the tsunami and earthquake and nuclear power plant topics in 3 months, but on Yahoo News and Yahoo News topics, it rapidly vanished out from the front page. This is a difference. And also we got this data from the on Twitter and with collaboration with Tokyo University's natural linguistic computer scientist Dr. Eiji Aramaki and Miyabe. So we found that many people said that we are discussing public opinions are in Twitter, but actually there are almost 2.0 to 4.0 people are discussing about food safety or nuclear policies. Others are just, of course, at first they are talking about such kind of thing, but rapidly they forget about that. So the rest of these areas about celebrities and sports and something else. So Of course, it's hard to say Twitter can be a public opinions arena or something else. Well, so next, about the crisis of confidence, but why? So we'll have to hurry about that. So during the risk communication presentation, I always hang this word, from the Collins and everything who is in Cardiff, and rethinking the first words in his book, Rethinking Expertise. Science, it can deliver truths, but cannot deliver it at the speed of politics. Well, after March 11th, expert comments needed in public sphere, but basically they show totalitarianism. So, for example, they made a gag orders in some powerful universities and also some institutes. And there is a lack of information and uncertain situation without legal systematic support. So they're now currently trying to make GCSA, essay, or SAGE-like a UK-like system in Japanese government, but now still it's going on. And as Karen stated, that situation changed from being scientific stage to a more political one rapidly. So, and became a many event like MMR vaccine cases in UK. So nowadays, according to the NICE, it's an Institution for Science and Knowledge Science Policy. So. According to their research, the openness of science and technology knowledge is 20% of the students evaluated is positive, and 50%, more than 50% students in Japan evaluated negative for the openness of the science and technology scholars. And also many experts tried to comment about the risk on media after March 11th, but they represented different meetings on risk. As, of course, you are professionals, but for example, is engineer and scientists, especially in a scientist like physicists or some other guys are talking risk as a hazard and the possibilities about the relation between the hazard and possibility, but some other scientists and doctors are thinking about exposure. And of course, as Peter Sandman stated, that this mainly students and evacuees are thinking about the risk is a kind of mixture of hazard and outrage. And the scientists try to reassure those people with comparing the risk with others. Maybe you know that this is a classic Vincent Cobello's research about the risk comparisons. So he made 5 ranks with the from most acceptable for very acceptable risk comparisons. But this is a person, the Fukushima Prefecture's radioactive advisor, Shunichi Yamashita, and he often used this kind of a bad comparison word. For example, he said that nowadays in Fukushima's radioactive situation, it's just like 1 cigarette. Don't care about that. So, but same as the thing happened in MMR vaccine cases. So the mothers who have their children feels like that Professor Yamashita comes to her and put her children put the smoking cigarette into her children's mouth and then get away, and then he said that don't care about this kind of thing or something else. Well, you can imagine that this kind of thing. So people are so outraged on public, especially on Twitter, and they accuse that. So we examined 4 newspapers and TV transcripts after March 11th and for 3 months. So sorted the scientists' risk expression on media, and also we filtered the netizen, scraped the data with a Twitter log and netizen reaction on Twitter sphere. So, and using 3 coders, we classify tweets into 1 to the 5 levels from the sympathy to denial. So this is a result. We can see the correlation that the horizontal axis shows from the as a Cobello's rank. Rank 1 is the better way to express a risk. Rank 5 is the worst way. And citizens' reaction on Twitter was quite negative on the using our rank 4 or 5 risk comparison expressions. But when the scientists use a better expression, they accept not of course sympathize but they just accept what the scientists are saying. So now I'm trying to make such kind of a data and now trying to convince that risk acceptance is not a communication. So you have to think about the risk communication and choose a better words than not to try to convince people. Just understand what the people is requiring, what kind of information they are requiring. Well, at last, so sorry, I went short, but I want to talk about what's happening on Twitter. So, common keyword research from SMC-wide website visitors at the first month, citizens wanted scientific knowledge like nuclear or earthquake or something else. But after the second month, they reached to our website by scientist name, and they want to comment praise or jeers at those scientists. For example, Dr. Shunichi Yamashita was name doubled as a devil in Japanese Twitter sphere or something else. Well, so Twitter became a public sphere. Some scientists, mainly physicists, this means not nuclear power plant scientists or engineers, kept tweeting against the gag order of their university or institution and analyzed the situation. So some students tweeted that nuclear power scientists' comments were strongly biased, so doubtful. Tweets from improvised scientists who study nuclear power after March 11th are less noisy and trustful. On the other hand, other guys said that the scientists' prior loyalty is dedicated to science itself. They are thinking the public are knowledge deficit guinea pigs. Twitter is just a tool to spin for them. So this kind of thing happens in BSE cases and also MMR vaccine cases. And so the Twitter is actually a massive tool for deliberative argument or catalyze of echo chamber, as Cass Sunstein stated, and formation. So we are now doing a social network analysis of stakeholders. Well, and this is a result, one of the results, and we can see that there is advocating scientists, and the pure scientist is kicked out from those advocating scientists. This is a network written with variables following retweetings and the frequency of retweets or interaction between the users. Well, and you can see there is a radio heads. They want to inframe the danger, and they are always saying that most of them are anti-nuclear activists, and they are saying that scientists are scientists are untrustful person or something else. But I don't care about what they are saying. But the important point is citizens are divided in those network. You can see that the green circle means the concerned citizens, and the most anxious netizens are mostly retweeting the information from those radio heads. You can see that so the citizens are divided by some kind of experts, advocating scientists, and also in contrast radio heads, and they are divided into those groups. So that is one of the problems. So we can say these are echo chambers, and some of the citizens are divided into those small by those echo chambers, and from them, they are hard to find out what the scientists are saying. So that is one of the situations happened happened after the earthquake. So this is a conclusion story for a long time. So mainstream media leads opinion diversity and maintains the agenda of important issues, but overall it focused too much on the nuclear issues and less on tsunami victims. And experts try to reassure people, but their strategies on risk communication were inappropriate. And Twitter worked as derivative tools for some citizens, but overall it categorized a formation of echo chamber for each ideology. Well, this is the end of my slide, and this is a comment. Thank you very much.